Yo, YouTubers, what's up? This is Layla Donovan. Today I'm bringing a exclusive of an old vintage back in 1980s, which is now has actually now started to work. I have to get some double-sided tape. But before I start this little wonderful video of my beautiful old and classic Rc10 T4, I do want to put it out here. I'm going to forward the camera so I can tell you exactly what's going on. So as today, funny thing, I was running my 10T4. I know I usually make my channels for gaming. I want to put it out there that earlier today, I got the front tires on. Last night I did the back tires, the originals, both front and back. So I go out today running my Rc10T. And the damnedest thing that happened, I was out there, driving this thing on my own business. And, well, needless to say, somebody had called the cops, running my RC car, and, running this original vintage. And, so I get 2 to 3 cop cars and show them my driver's license, saying I live here, and which I think is really complete utter horseshit. I mean, people thinking that, okay, driving my Rc10 T4 just because it crashed off onto the side of the road and somebody thought I got hurt by calling the cops. Well, yeah, about that, I mean, think about this. This is like a vintage Rc10 T4. But I'm going to just forget about what had happened with that shit with the cops. But I am going to be posting it today. Hopefully I have good reception to actually do the outside broadcasting. So what I'm going to do is in about a few minutes I'm going to actually video record the Rc10 T4, and unfortunately it's not going to be a live stream, so it's going to be what it is for the running. I just want to put out here, I was able to restore everything, but I do want to point out before I do anything of running it, I'm going to take the body clip off. I should have done one last night of my TT01, which apparently I was just too lazy to do. As you can tell right now, I don't have double-sided tape, so it looks mashugana. I know it looks like it's going to look like complete ass and shit, but I'm going to give you an idea what I did here. As far as anything, I'm not using a very powerful battery because, well, right now I had to buy 2 because eventually I'm going to run my Cloudbuster, so I'm using that amount to run that thing. But here, let me show you what I did. Most of it's all original except for the shocks I had to replace. I have a Valenian motor, which is in there. I have some aftermarket stuff. Not very much, but just enough to run it. I'm actually running a Spectrum servo, and I'll show you. Here, let me just turn the camera around and give you an idea. Now, of course, this is the original body, which some of you remember back in the 80s. We're running an original Rc10 T4. These back then were considered the competitive series. I actually got this, so it was just for about past year or two. Get circumstances of what it is. Of course, the body being all mashugana, the bad paint job. Just don't want to, I want to put it out there. I'm just going to turn the camera on actually so I can show you a better perspective of it. Now, what I ended up doing, apparently, was some different stuff. When I'm running in here, is the Onyx. It's a low power battery. I had to put my heart necklace out. It's a low power battery. I'm running the original Rc10 T4 kit tires with the original skinny tires in the front. I would have went with the bigger tires, but I can't find the other one. And the front tires that did come with this were pretty much trashed. I have a Traxxas, the VL3S, which is in here, with the vanillion motor, which is right back here. Took a lot of time to actually find the parts. It took a lot of time to replace even the shocks, because the original shocks, as you can tell, right over here, these are different. I bought them off Amazon. I think they were like, when I was at the time working and I was employed, I actually bought these adjustable coilovers. I didn't do very much with them. I didn't really adjust them all the way down to give them more compression. Don't think I ever need it. The back, which is really tricky because everything in the back, it has more weight. Given the circumstance that there's always an elapsed time with the older kits. I mean, this has a slipper clutch assembly, so usually anybody who has like these original kits would know exactly what I mean, that there's always that delayed time. Regardless if you tighten the screw, the spring screw that comes with it, I actually tightened it as far as I can get so the clutch doesn't doesn't slip too much. There's a leaf from earlier, which I ran. The other thing in the back with the original, yeah, I know. I actually, because this thing was sitting in storage for so long, I ended up, the trick was with this, the lower arms for the kit on both these. I actually boiled these in hot water for a little bit, so to undo the tension that, you know, has to actually massage the plastic out a little bit, made them a little bit more softer. Not too soft, but just enough to actually be able to use without, heaven forbid, I jump over a bump or some kind of hill. This way, you know, they don't break on the spot. But I know that, you know, eventually they do. But the funny thing is, with the series competitiveness of these type of vehicles, a lot of people don't buy these anymore, or they don't buy the Kyoshos. They, you know, like buying an old kit from this, you know, back in that time was something which was commonly known to be done. However, people are now buying Traxxas, which are not very as competitive. As a matter of fact, I was never a big Traxxas person. Given the circumstance, I was always into the original vintage style racing, because back then, you know, for me, having an original series like this for heavy competition was something I've always wanted to get into, and I thought about getting back into it after quite a few, you know, quite a long years of prior to my transitioning, and I am now at that point where I want to give it another go, so I can actually start racing again. Hopefully, stadium truck, off-road, modified, buggy racing. Granted, yes, I know this thing's this thing is old. People think that it's not very it's outdated and stuff, but you know, sometimes never knock the classics. Always try it. Like I said, I just started running it again for the first time in over 30 years, which surprisingly, the person that had it apparently didn't do a very good job at putting it together. There's still some, like, some point I'll find some really good tires, foam tires, to replace some of these tires in the front, in which some of them actually, like this one here, if you take a look, there's that little bump right there. But that's pretty much it. And I can't see anything or do anything more. So, This is Layla saying, if you happen to like the channel, like, subscribe, and in a few minutes, about a half hour or so, you'll see I'll be uploading a video of how I actually am running this thing. So hopefully this time I don't get like any problems. I might just run it on the driveway instead of doing a long thing, but alright, but yeah, like, subscribe, and be shooting up more videos of my old vintage. Bye for now. Oh, there we go.